Hey guys, now you can follow me on Facebook. Just go to facebook.com/UltraMaximusReviews. Cybertron Weekly is your central hub for everything Transformers.
These don't look terrifying. Wait, no, stop!
You suck.
Transformers!
Hello YouTube, Ultra Maximus back with another toy review, and today we're taking a look at another Transformers figure. It's from Power of the Primes. It's Terrorcon Sinnertwin. Now, this was my favorite Terrorcon as a kid because this is the only one I had as a kid. So I've always liked this figure. I just like the monster bots. I think they're really, really cool and fun. And I'd said in a previous video that this will be the first Abominus I'd put together, and that's not exactly true. I did put the little tiny ones together, but yeah, that doesn't count. But he's definitely looking cool. I like the color scheme, and I do have to say it doesn't look like it has the articulation in the necks that I would like, but it is what it is. So let's go ahead and take a look at the packaging. So here we have Sinnertwin in the packaging, and I gotta say, he just looks really cool. He looks nice and big and beefy. I'm digging that, liking the colors. Here with the artwork up there, there's his beast mode down there, there he is, and that's pretty much it. Side of the packaging has a picture of Abominus, so just kind of a close-up of the artwork, looking all kinds of cool. There he is. There's his beast mode right there, and then there's Abominus, just like all the other figures. Back of the packaging, just like everything else in the line, we have a very simple one-line write-up of the robot. There he is, there's his beast mode, that's play gimmick, and here are the other Prime Masters in the line. So just kind of a quick close-up. If you want to pause and read this, you are more than welcome to. And then there he is, robot mode. There's your play gimmick. There's his beast mode, looking all kinds of cool. The other Prime Masters in the line, and that's how you attach it on there. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the packaging. Let's go ahead and get Sinnertwin out of box and see what we think. So here we have Sinnertwin out of the packaging, and for the most part, I like this figure. It's not as fun as the figure I had as a kid, and that's because of some engineering problems. But for the most part, I do like the figure. Now, I've got him with his little Prime armor on. I call it the little baby holster piece. It just looks kind of silly there. I will say that I am appreciative of them using an actual colored piece of plastic that matches the rest of the hand for this piece, much like the Ripper Snapper. I think that is a great idea. So kudos for them doing that. I'm going to take this piece off right there. And yeah, definitely very cool. I'm just going to throw this off to the side. And for the most part, he looks like the character that we got in the original G1. I like the head sculpt on the guy. I think it looks pretty cool. The biggest problem I have with my particular figure is this arm right here. The ball joint just comes right out. Every time you go to move it, it just comes out. I don't know why, but it just does. It's not like it's broken or anything. It's just like the ball joint's just barely too small for the actual joint that it goes into. And that's probably my biggest complaint about the figure. The other minor gripe I have is some paint detail. In the monster mode, the bottom teeth are not painted. And I don't know if that's my figure or it's all of them. Leave a comment down below. Let me know how yours turned out. Now, as far as articulation goes on the figure, his head does move back and forth. It does wiggle up and down. It's on a ball joint, but it really doesn't feel like it has a lot of motion. It feels like it's going to snap, actually, so I don't really mess with it that much. It's got a ball joint at the shoulder. They do go out. This one likes to pop off, unfortunately. He's got a twist at the upper arm that is very, very tight. Right there, there's a hinge there at the elbow, and really nothing at the wrist. They do move inward, but that is primarily for transformation. He does have a twist at the waist. His legs kick up about that far. They kick all the way back. They kick outward really well because they are on ball joints. And he's got a twist at the upper thigh. There is a hinge at the knee right there, and then nothing at the feet themselves. So all in all, for a deluxe figure, he has pretty decent articulation. So taking a closer look at the figure itself, I do like the design of the bot here. I like the head sculpt. I like the color scheme. I like the red and the gray, the blues, the yellows. All look really, really good. He's got that silver paint app on his shoulder there. That looks really, really nice. We get a lot of molded detail. Not a lot of paint detail in the yellow bits on the back. But you know, the arm or the head kind of folds back and becomes the backpack, which the original figure did as well. So no real complaints there. Again, loving that silver detail on the turquoise. He's got the kind of fake rub symbol on his chest. You know, much like Hunger, I don't know why they just didn't give him a rub symbol. It would have been just easier, I think. Looking at the midsection of the figure, again, sculpted pretty well. I like the hands. He's got his little gun. That's pretty cool. It looks like the gun back in the day. I like the kind of blue around there on the waist and the legs. That all looks nice. Lots of sculpted detail, which is very, very cool. He's got the monster feet that kind of fold up on the back of the arms. That works. And again, his little monster heads fold onto the back there and go down the back, which, I mean, it's about right for this particular character. Now looking at the legs of the feet, I like how there's not a lot of gappage on the back. We do have some gappage on the inside of the legs, but that's okay, I guess. The thing I don't like the most about it, his monster legs just kind of hang on the side there. Again, love the silver, love the red paint apps. He's very stable. He stands very, very well. I just wish that these monster legs could have folded up a little bit more. I think that would have been pretty cool. I do like how his two little tails hang on the back of each one of his legs there. That looks nice, and it works pretty well. For comparison, here we have a Sinnertwin with Dinobot Snarl. And as you can see, they're pretty much about the same size. Snarl looks a little bit bulkier because he's got the tail up there on his shoulder, but all in all, pound for pound, plastic for plastic, they're really about the same size. Now Sinnertwin transforms into a two-headed dragon type of monster, which I've always kind of liked. I always thought it was kind of weird we had two of the two-headed monsters in the Terrorcons, but it's an 80s toy, so what are you going to do? So let's go ahead and get Sinnertwin into his beast mode and see what we think. Sinnertwin in his beast mode, and for the most part it's pretty decent. I will say I do not like how the legs are way different in size. I remember them being about the same size as a kid. I'll have to go back and look at a G1 figure. The other thing is the tails. They seem a little bit too small for me. Again, I just remember them being a little bit bigger, but maybe it was because I was a lot bit smaller. I don't know. I will say that the heads have a lot more articulation on them than what I was anticipating, which is very, very nice. Transformation on this guy is relatively simple. It's kind of goofy to get the legs up and into position. I had them spun around the wrong way at first. We get the gun that mounts on the top. I always remember him having the gun up there. I remember mounting the gun on the old toy on his back, so that's pretty cool that you could do that here. And I'm going to take this off just to kind of show the figure off a little. And yeah, there we go. Very, very cool. He's got these like kind of purpley pointy horns on his head. I vaguely remember that, but I want to say mine were yellow as a kid. I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a long time. The biggest gripe I got, though, look at his teeth. Why are the bottom teeth not painted silver? That just doesn't make any sense. Now, as far as articulation goes, these are relatively articulated. They can move up and down, and they have some bottom pieces to kind of hide any kind of gaps. If you go too far up, it looks a little goofy. And then the heads themselves are on ball joints, which is nice. And then the mouth is articulated as well. So that is very, very cool. I do dig that. Again, I don't like the ball joints on the arms. They just fall right off very easily. The legs do move up and down, but they kind of get locked into place because of other parts, which is a bit unfortunate. And it's got the knee here and the twists, all that kind of stuff right there. But overall, yeah, I mean, it's not a bad monster mode. So is Sinnertwin a figure that you want in your Transformers collection? Well, if you're collecting all of the Terrorcons, you need this guy to make a Abominus. I personally have a little place in my heart for this character because I had this toy as a kid. It was the only Terrorcon I had, and I loved it. I thought it was so much fun. There are issues I have with this figure, but it does bring that nostalgic feel back to me, which I do like. I like the articulation in the head. It's got a lot more articulation in the two dinosaur or monster heads than the original figure did, and a lot more than I was anticipating on this figure. I wish they would have painted all the teeth silver on this guy. That would have been cool. And my biggest gripe is that left arm just pops right off of the joint. I'm afraid at some point that it's just not going to stay back on there, so I'm not going to move it around too terribly much, which is a shame. Other than that, everything else is pretty good on this figure. It's got a lot of really tight joints, which I do appreciate. They don't feel like they're going to go loose at any point in time. Overall, it's not a bad deluxe figure. So there he is, Sinnertwin from Transformers Power of the Primes.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, thumbs it up. If you hate this video, thumbs it down. To watch more Ultra Maximus, click on the links to the right. Don't forget to subscribe and share, like us on Facebook, and look for more videos in the future.